Hello, and welcome to Phoenix Rising, Wisdom of the Heart. I'm your host, Teresa. Before we begin today, I want to offer a gentle heads up and a warning. This episode is talking about suicide and mental health. My goal is to have this conversation in a safe, educational, and compassionate way. If this isn't the right moment for you, please take care of yourself and come back when you're ready. Suicidal thoughts often come from pain, overwhelm, a sense of deep isolation, not from weakness. And especially around the holidays, many people quietly struggle. If this is you, please hear me. You are not alone, and those feelings do not define you. Support is real and available. If you or someone you love is struggling, please reach out. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline is available 24/7. You can call or text 988 at any time. Talking to someone can truly save a life. As we have this conversation, remember, you matter, your story matters, and there is always hope. Let's talk about suicide in the holidays. The holidays are a time for most people of joy, but for even more people, they're a time of sadness and sorrow. They're either dealing with grief, post-traumatic stress disorder, or any number of things. And they feel isolated. I hear you. I've attempted suicide once. I had lost someone who practically finished raising me. And the pain was just so bad, so tearing, that all I wanted to do was go to sleep. So I took a handful of nerve pills and fell asleep for about 2 weeks. Gratefully, that didn't succeed. And I made a promise to my mother and my family that I would never do that again. And I've honored that promise. You get to the point where you feel like nothing is worth it. Life isn't worth it. You're not worth it. Let me tell you something right now, friends. You're worth every drop of blood in your body. You are worth every breath you take. Reach out. We often isolate. I did. We often isolate, and we're experts at making ourselves look like we're fine when we're not. You know, we might isolate, we might be depressed. There's so many different emotions running through somebody. And you can't really tell what the trigger is going to be. Don't take your life. Nothing on this earth is worth suicide. In my family history, I've also had people who have committed suicide under the influence of alcohol and or drugs or both. They weren't in their right mind, and somebody that's feeling suicidal would not be in their right mind anyway, because all you feel is the pain, the crushing darkness. You feel like it's not worth taking the next breath. I understand you. I've been there. Suicide is not something, it's always something that is hushed up. Why? If you are hurting, reach out. Trusted counselor, the 988 hotline. Don't stuff that stuff in. That's all that does is destroy you. And there are times when you're going to feel like it isn't worth it anymore. Believe me, it is. And we're not thinking correctly when we're in that type. And God only knows what's in each of our minds when we reach that point. Don't turn to anybody that's not trusted. Reach out to family, friends, the suicide hotline. There's plenty of places and plenty of people that are going to want to listen to you because you are special. You are here on this earth for a very good reason, and it's not to commit suicide. Even though that may be the very last thing you want to hear, I get it. And you're not always thinking about potential consequences down the line. That never crosses your mind. You just want freedom from the pain. It's not easy to deal with, especially alone. I had to get help. Was I afraid to? Yeah. But it was past the point where my family could reach me. So I got professional help. And I realized that that is a stigmata. It's something, oh no, we don't talk about that. Why the hell not? If you're at that point, talking may be the only thing that saves you. And of course, you cannot stop somebody who has made their mind up to commit suicide. All you can do is be there for them. Especially Thanksgiving's coming up next week. Christmas is coming up in December. You know, I have a death date that's coming for a family member. So, holidays, birthdays, other things, other times, other places can trigger the grief. And it does get to a point where you don't want to live. I definitely understand that. But the thing of it is, you are worth living for. You are a precious child of the divine. You're unique, you're individual, and you are loved, even by people you don't even know. A lot of people do not have support systems in place for this. You may have a family that, oh, it's all hush hush. We don't talk about that. That's not a thing to be talked about. Guess what, folks? It is something to be talked about. If you can't talk with your family, talk with someone you trust. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Talk things out before you take that step. You can't find anybody, dial the 988 number. Life is just too damn precious to end it all. There is nothing on this planet that is worth you taking your life for. I don't care what it is. You're too precious to take your own life. It is, and this is going to be hard to say, there is so much stigmata with any mental health issue. We've got our veterans. We've got people that have lost people recently, lost their job. It doesn't matter what the loss is. Sooner or later, that snowball starts tumbling. And you get to a point where you don't want to live anymore. I understand that. But I saw the light and was thankful that my suicide attempt didn't work. It was a blessing that those pills were of such a mild dosage that all it did was put me to sleep for 2 weeks. Did that stop the pain? No, but it kept from creating more pain. With counseling, and I did get counseling, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I got counseling. There are people out there that would rather listen to you talk about your problems than bury you, point blank blunt. The holidays, specifically any holiday, it doesn't matter whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, any holiday. And a big shout out goes to our veterans. Thank you all for your service. You are loved and appreciated. It's hard when that's all you see in front of you day in and day out. Not just the veterans, the ones that have had so many traumas in their lives that they'd rather end it all than deal with it. I get it. Believe you me, I get it. Suicide is not an option. It really fucking isn't. I know it seems like that's the only option. Don't believe that lie. Anytime you are thinking about harming yourself, reach out. You're not being a victim by reaching out. You are reaching out to regain control. That's not being a victim. That's not playing the victim, regardless of what society says. And there's a lot of people that have been looked at playing the victim card. And again, I apologize for the triggering, but the truth needs to come out. If you are suicidal, talk to somebody. Don't keep it in. Find somebody you trust. That is paramount. And I realize that there are individuals that don't have any kind of a support system, and what support system they have is piss poor. Reach out to counselors that you've had. Reach out to the 988 suicide hotline. Because you really do matter. You may not think you do, but oh, you matter. Every individual on this planet matters, regardless of what you're going through. And some people don't want to hear that. I'm okay with that. When you lose somebody by suicide, there's so many unanswered questions. Like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't he or she talk to me? Was there something I could have said or done? Why didn't I see the warning signs? Folks, a lot of times you're not going to. Because those of us who have thought that way, pretty damn well able to hide that. And for the families that actually don't care or not paying attention, folks, you need to wake up. Just because they're an adult, for example, don't mean that they don't need to be checked on and talked to. Same thing goes with a kid. You're not always going to know. The adult is not always going to know. The parents aren't going to always know. The family's not going to always know. We're good at hiding it. Reach out. You're too precious to take your life away. You are too precious to take your life. I understand that you get to a point where you just don't want to live. I get it. Like every breath is agony, like you're drowning, and no one and nothing is going to save you. That's the thought pattern. It doesn't work that way. There are people that give a damn and are willing to talk with you and not going to give you an attitude about, well, you shouldn't be talking about this. And I realize a lot of that is conditioning. Let me tell you from my own heart, you are precious. Your life is precious. And I will reiterate again, there is nothing and no one on this planet that's worth committing suicide for. You may feel differently, and I honor and respect that. However, you are a child of the divine by whatever name you choose to call. a child that is loved and cared for, even though you may not be able to see it in the physical reality. Before you think about getting that gun or that knife or the drugs, reach out to somebody. And I don't mean ChatGPT either. That's not going to help you. So reach out to the 988 line. They're open 24/7. They've got people that will talk to you for however long you need. Make use of your resources because you are precious. I can't reiterate this enough. I'm going to close this version of Phoenix Rising Wisdom of the Heart. Again, if you or someone you love is having suicidal thoughts, contact 988 by a call or by text. You are loved, you are precious, and somebody is waiting to help you. We will see you next week.